Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm sharing how I organized a fun picnic party in the park. I'll take you through all the steps from the dishes I cooked to the decorations and setup to make it a memorable day outdoors. If you're looking for ideas to plan your own picnic party, I hope you'll find plenty of inspiration here. So let's get started. So it was my son Hamad's birthday, and this year I decided to do a cozy picnic in the park just with our cousins. Hamad had a special request. Instead of ordering food like we always do for parties, he wanted me to make all his favorite dishes from scratch. Now, I'm not a huge fan of cooking for parties. I usually prefer takeout, but since it was his birthday wish, I was happy to make it happen. First up, I started by steaming some potatoes for crispy potato sticks. Hamad loves anything made with potatoes. Next, I'll show you how I made some fun corn dogs for the party. To make the corn dogs, I started with the main ingredient, cornmeal. I ground it until it was super fine, which is key for a smooth batter. Then I boiled the hot dogs and moved on to preparing the batter. For dry ingredients, I combined cornmeal, all-purpose flour, sugar, which I realized later was a bit too much, so I'll definitely reduce it next time, along with baking powder and salt. Once those were mixed, I added the wet ingredients, which were buttermilk, that is fresh lemon, egg, some oil, and a touch of honey. I stirred everything together until I got a nice smooth batter. Meanwhile, I skewered the boiled hot dogs and dipped each one in the batter. This is the technique I followed to coat them just right. I actually followed Natasha's kitchen recipe for this, and she explains each step really well. I'll link her recipe in the description if you want to check it out. Now, I'll be honest, frying corn dogs hasn't always gone smoothly for me. Usually the batter tends to flatten out, making it look more like a param puri than a corn dog. This time, the first one didn't turn out right. The batter was coming away from the hot dog. Then I realized the oil level was too low. That's where I was going wrong all the time. So I added enough oil to fully submerge the corn dogs, and with that, they turned out super good, as you can see. I had made some kadumanga, which is my favorite. Just look at that. I was treating myself to a bit of it in between all the work. Since it was a breakfast picnic, I decided to make some waffles too. I've been using this recipe from Natasha's kitchen for quite some time now, and I can tell you they turn out super delicious every single time. So first, in a bowl, we're going to beat eggs and sugar together. This is a crucial step. You want to beat them until they are light, pale and airy. I forgot to shoot that part, but definitely do that. Once that's done, we'll mix in the oil, give that a good stir. Then I added flour, all-purpose flour, and milk. Sometimes I add half buttermilk and half regular milk. You can just add regular milk if you don't have buttermilk. Then I add a splash of vanilla for that lovely warm flavor. Now when you mix, make sure to just combine everything until it's incorporated. Avoid over-mixing, as that can make your waffles tough rather than tender. Lastly, sprinkle in baking powder and fold it through gently. Now our batter is ready to go into the waffle maker. I then added a pinch of salt and a little more of vanilla essence, and this is the consistency that you should be looking for. I love adding chocolate chips directly into the batter. Today I'm going to add white chocolate chips. This little trick is actually a game changer. By mixing this chocolate chips into the batter, the waffles are delicious on their own, so you don't need extra toppings like syrup or spreads. But if you prefer, you can omit the white chocolate and serve it with syrup or chocolate or whatever you like. And there you have it, perfect waffles are ready. Now if you're preparing for the week, you can easily freeze these waffles. Whenever you need them, just take them out and pop them into the toaster or air fryer to warm them up. And if you don't have a toaster or air fryer, no worries, just bake them in the oven for a few minutes, not much, until they're just warm and have regained that crispiness a bit. Next up, we're making kebab rolls, and I'm excited to show you how to make the bread from scratch. This bread is a star. It stays incredibly soft for days. So to make this, we start with all-purpose flour and a bit sugar. I add a bit more sugar than usual because I love a slightly sweet bread. Then I add instant yeast and mix everything together. Once that's combined, I add the salt and mix it a bit more. Then I poured in warm milk and start kneading. I'll knead this for 5 minutes. Then I'll add softened butter and I'll continue to knead for another 5 minutes in the stand mixer. Though you can absolutely do this by hand if you prefer that way. Once your dough is smooth and elastic, place it in a well-greased bowl, cover it and let it rise in a warm place until it's doubled in size. While the dough is rising, let's get the kebabs ready. I have some mutton kebabs that I prepared earlier and froze. I'll just take them out and place them on the rack of my air fryer and cook them for about 25 minutes. Once our dough has doubled, I'll punch it down and give it a quick knead. Then I'll divide it into 10 equal balls. These will be our individual rolls for the kebabs. Each ball will wrap around a delicious juicy kebab, making the perfect kebab rolls. As for the kebabs, I've actually shared the recipe a couple of times in previous videos, so I won't be going over it in detail today. I had these kebabs prepared ahead of time, which is why you didn't see the preparation in this video. I will be posting the detailed recipe of this kebab in the description of this video. So if you would like to see the recipe of the kebab, do check it out. Now it's time to shape the rolls. You can roll out each ball with a rolling pin, but I like to use my hands. Just flatten the dough with your fingers, gently pull and stretch it a bit, just like how you see here in the video. Next, place a kebab right in the center of your flattened dough. Then bring the edges together over the filling, pinching them tightly to seal. Make sure it's sealed well so that it doesn't open up while baking. And just like that, your kebab roll is assembled. It's really that simple. You can even add cheese inside for extra flavor, or if kebabs aren't your thing, you can definitely get creative with fillings. You can add minced meat or chicken filling, any sort of chicken filling, or even hot dogs work great. For those who love cheese, filling this with just plain cheese is also delicious. I made slits on both sides of each roll. This not only helps the bread cook through but also gives it a beautiful pattern once baked. So I popped them into a preheated oven and baked it for about 15 minutes or until you see the tops turning a lovely golden brown. As soon as they come out of the oven, you have to brush each roll with some melted butter. This little step makes the bread even softer and adds a rich, comforting flavor. Just look at how soft and inviting they are. I'm always so thrilled when the bread turns out this well. I really hope you'll try making these rolls. They're fantastic, and whether you stick to the original recipe or put your own twist or you add your own fillings, I'm sure you'll love them just as much as we did. After preparing everything, this is how my kitchen looked, a total chaos. So I cleaned up and then moved on to making the potato sticks. First, I steamed some potatoes and mashed them very well. Then I added just corn flour and salt, mixed it all together and kneaded it into a nice dough. Next, I put the potato mixture into a plastic bag. You could also use a Ziploc and flatten it out really well. You can store it like this in the freezer and fry it whenever you want. Since I plan to fry these fresh the next morning, I kept it in the fridge. So the next day I packed up the waffles, kebab rolls and corn dogs, and finally it was time to fry the potato sticks. I cut open the plastic, sliced the potatoes into thin sticks and deep fried them. They turned out so crispy and delicious. Everybody loved these, especially me and my son. We are big fans of French fries, but honestly we liked these even more. I've actually shared the full recipe on my Instagram reels. I think you will love it. So I'll just link it in the description for you to check it out. After frying the potato sticks, I had a spice mix ready to go. I coated the potato sticks in it and they turned out so flavorful and delicious. For my son's birthday cake, he didn't want anything fancy. He specifically asked for my homemade brownies. So I made milk chocolate brownies just for him. And since almost everything I prepared was for kids, I wanted to add something for the adults. I ordered kalma kai narchadu from the same person I mentioned in my last vlog. I gave them a quick air fry to make them a little crispy, and they turned out perfect. Early in the morning, around 8:30, we reached Mishrif Park to set up for the picnic. It's such a lovely park, perfect for gatherings like this. We brought along a tent to surprise Hamad as we actually got it on a great offer from the shop True Value. Half the price for such a good quality brand. It's from Red Cliffs and it's so easy to set up. You just take it out of the cover and it assembles itself, as you can see here. If you're interested, you might want to check out True Value. I picked a cozy spot with a nice shade under a tree. We started by laying out the mat, and my little girl was there to help. Alhamdulillah, mashallah. Hamad wasn't there yet, he was on his way. Then I got to arranging everything, as you'll see in the next clips. I got these decorations from Flying Tiger and I just love the quality of their items. They're durable enough to reuse and surprisingly affordable. Honestly, they are much better than the ones you find at bargain stores or the 10 to 20 dirhams shops like MRG or City Star. I used to shop at those places for decorations, but now I go to Flying Tiger instead. The prices are similar, sometimes even lower, but the quality is so much better and the decorations have a really classy look. So that's the decoration done, nothing too fancy, just a few pieces here and there on the trees. We also brought along a cozy blanket for comfortable seating, and I added a prayer mat from Makkah from my last Umrah trip. It made a nice spot for us to lean back on, adding to the comfort. This type of prayer mat is now easily available everywhere actually. With the setup ready, I just waited for everyone to arrive before plating the food because there were quite a few flies around. That was the only downside to the day, maybe due to the changing weather, but the flies were just everywhere. Once everyone arrived, I arranged the food on the plates, waffles, chicken strips cut into small pieces with toothpicks. I gave the job of putting the toothpicks to Aisha, so she was doing that. We also had idli, specifically podi idli, which our cousins brought. Then the corn dogs and potato sticks. The corn dogs were at their best right after frying, all crispy and hot, but by the time we got to the park, they had softened up a bit. The potato sticks also got a little bit soft, but still tasted great. As for the kebab rolls, some opened up during baking, but they were still delicious. And that's the final setup. Everyone was excited for the food, though we were all busy trying to shoo away the flies, especially the kids. But overall, we had a wonderful breakfast picnic, alhamdulillah, and everyone had a great time. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. Share it with your family and friends and subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to leave a comment below and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.